Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on October the 1st, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. And all right, in terms of the data that's coming up on Friday, we have some PMI numbers out of the Eurozone, Canadian GDP numbers for the month. So GDP is expected to have dropped. So if the drop is bigger than what the expectation is here, that will be negative for Canadian dollar. We also have core PC price index numbers. We have ISM manufacturing PMI numbers for the US. So this number here is important. Again, expecting a slight decrease, but anything more than that would be negative for the US dollar. And then we also have consumer sentiment numbers here that we'll keep an eye on. Overall in the markets, we did see a big decline in the stock market today. Other than that, we did see that US has actually received the go ahead for funding till, or the government funding till December the 3rd, so that immediate risk is not quite there yet, so, or not there right now. So that is it in terms of what's going on. So let's take a look at our charts now. We'll start with euro dollar. So euro dollar has been dropping. Now we are into these levels that we haven't seen for quite some time. It passed through the support level. So we have this big inefficient move here. So bias here to the downside still. And at this point, next target is a 1.1520 and then a 1.1450. So bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar, pound did retreat, and if we take a look here, price was right into the support resistance level here. Now, in terms of what this looks like, we do have a pullback. However, if it doesn't go through the resistance, we could still see a decline here. So bias here is overall still to the downside. But since we had a big decline, it was expected that we would see some sort of a pullback. Now we're also going on into Friday. Fridays can be reversal days, so please do keep that in mind. But at this point, I'm looking for a retest of 1.3520 level. And then if it holds below, I'm looking for a drop then. So in this case, the first target, 1.3420 and 1.3300. So in this case, neutral to slightly bearish bias here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar pulled back up here as well. Now this is back into this range. At this point, I'm neutral, not really bullish, but this one could go back into the range here. So keep that in mind. We could see a move higher. Again, we need to see how price reacts to the high. So if it doesn't go through today's high, we could still see a drop. But overall, chances are we could see we are likely to see a drop, a move through to the high of the range, and from there back into the range again. So right now, this is looking like a range bound, but if it doesn't go through today's high, that is likely to be a drop then. But right now, neutral bias for Aussie dollar and looking for a move towards 0.7320. New Zealand dollar, this also bounced up a bit, but again, with this here, I'm looking for a move back again, a retest of 0.6930, and if it holds, a further drop to the downside. So we had a drop, pullback, and then a further drop here. So bias is neutral here, neutral to slightly bearish. In this case, the first target is 0.6855. And then we have 0.6800. So neutral to bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD price came back into the range again. So this is where we saw it bounce off of the resistance. And we are back here again. So in this case, looking for a move in the range still. So neutral, bearish bias, but it's been trading in this range. So target is 1.25 or 1.2600. So bearish bias for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at our silver here. Silver has gone back up. And in this case, we do have a bullish candle close, but we need to be careful here. If it holds above 22.00, then we will look for a move all the way into 22.85. So right now, I'm neutral on this because what could happen here is if it holds below 22.20, it could still continue to the downside. So right now, I'm neutral. We'll watch and we'll wait and watch and see how price reacts at 22.20. If it holds below, we're looking for a drop. If it goes through, we're looking for price to go and test the resistance once again. So neutral bias for silver. Gold here, gold had a big day, big move to the upside here. And in this case, price is into resistance now. So watch out for that. This is an important support resistance level where price has struggled previously. So if it holds below 1764, we are looking for a drop. So in this case, looking for a bit of a pullback and then potentially a drop again. So it's been stuck in this bit of a range here. So bias is neutral and looking for a move between 1764 and 1722. Now, should it go through the resistance, then we are back all the way back into the high towards 1785. So right now, most important thing to watch out for would be the level at 1764. Oil here, oil's been going back and forth here. It's moved in both directions. And now we have a neutral candle close. Yesterday was a neutral candle close as well. So basically, I'm expecting a range bound move here between 76.20 and 73.65. So neutral bias here for oil. Copper continuing on here. We saw that drop. We were expecting that drop and price seems to be accelerating here. So still bearish bias here. And in this case, the next target is 3.97. So bearish bias for copper. Bitcoin did have a good day. We saw a bounce off of the support level where price was at. And in this case, price has been trading sideways here in this range. So I'm looking for a retest of the high at 44,850. And if it holds, we're looking for a move back into the range again. So bias here is neutral for Bitcoin, and I'm expecting it to hold the range. S&P 500, we were looking for a pullback and then a drop. So we got that. Price is into support, and this is where we need to be careful here. So bias is bearish. However, because it's into support, and last time price was here, it did bounce back. Watch out for the bounce back. Now, if it holds below 43.50, then we could still get another drop. But be careful with this one. Again, Fridays can be reversal days. So watch out for that reversal, but overall bias still remains to the downside. NASDAQ here, NASDAQ dropped. And as we can see, price did pull back. And then we have a bearish pin bar here. But again, the problem is price is into support, and this is where it had made a big bounce. So we are back again at that level. If it holds above 14,700, we could see price become range bound, or if it breaks through, then we are basically back again looking for a move higher. At this point, neutral bias, bias is bearish, but with caution, because price could turn around here. So we'll keep that in mind. And then Dow Jones here, Dow Jones also dropped. Again, we are into a big support level here. So be mindful of that, but bias is still bearish here. And in this case, we could get a bit of a pullback, potentially towards 34,000. And then if it holds below, we're looking for a continuation to the downside here. So bearish bias, 33,600 is the target. And then DAX here, DAX as well pulled back up and then dropped. So we have a nice bearish candle close. Again, looking for a continuation move to the downside here. First target is 15,130, and then second is 15,000. So bearish bias here for DAX as well. And then FTSE here, FTSE had a nice move to the upside, but couldn't hold. And right off of the resistance, we are back into the range once again. We have a bearish candle close, so looking for a continuation towards the bottom of the range here, and 7010 is the target, 7010 is the target, so bearish bias for FTSE. And then last but not least, as expected here, we saw Nikkei drop. And with this, though, we are into some important support resistance level. Now, should it break through here, though, then that opens up this entire move, this inefficient move. Inefficient moves tend to get filled, just like we saw the drop here. Then price went and filled that. We saw another drop, price filled it. We saw another drop, price filled it, and then filled that inefficient move too. So overall, any of these inefficient moves here, we have seen them get filled. So we could see a similar scenario here. So watch out for it. Bearish bias, and in this case, the first target here is 29,000. So bearish bias for Nikkei. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again on Sunday with the weekly analysis. Bye for now.